All right. Usually I don't stream on Fridays all that much. I used to, then I stopped. But I kind of want to today, this Friday in particular. Not that long of a stream. See, it depends, but I kind of want to talk about Netflix right here, guys. Netflix. About the future of Netflix. Netflix acquiring Warner Brothers. Now, I did not put Warner Brothers Discovery because they're not going to acquire Discovery. Let you know. That's going to be switched to. That's going to be dissolved into two groups. One is going to be Discovery Global Discovery, and then Warner Brothers, which Netflix will own. So, okay. But I'm here. So I'm going to talk about Netflix. All right. It was a big bombshell that dropped yesterday. It dropped yesterday live on my show. Live on my show it dropped, right? The big news. The big freaking news that Netflix has won the rights to bid to negotiate a deal for Warner Brothers. Okay? Warner Brothers to acquire Warner Brothers to own Warner Brothers. Okay? $83 billion. 83 billion. Okay? A lot of money on the line. Okay? Lots of money right there. 83 billion, 83 billion, man. Hey, Netflix, can you spare some change? Spare some change, Netflix. Okay, please, for me. Please. I don't think it hurts for you to spare some change, Netflix. Please. But there's a lot of things with this deal, with this potential. Oh yeah. Okay, I like keeping that. All right, I'm gonna keep that up for sure. I had to test it out. Hello, George. So there's a lot of things I want to talk about this deal. First off the bat, I don't know what's anybody telling you. Okay? There is no Snyderverse coming back to Netflix. Okay? Okay? First of all, here's a few things you gotta know. Okay. That I think I forgot to mention yesterday. I did mention yesterday, but I forgot to add some things to it. Okay. Zaslav is staying on. They're keeping Zaslav on. Okay. That's they're keeping Zaslav on. Okay. So Zaslav's not going anywhere. So accept that fact that Zaslav is staying. So he's not going anywhere. Zaslav's not going anywhere, okay? You have to accept that fact. Whoever. I don't care whether, okay? He's not going anywhere. He's sticking on. It's one of the deals that it's one of the things that they agreed upon that Zaslav wants to stay on. Okay? Okay. That's an important fact to know, guys. That's a very important fact to know. Okay? Zaslav is staying. Zaslav's staying. Gunn is staying. It's been out there that today that Gunn, according to Capia and Grace, that Gunn's going to stay on. Why? Like, why would Netflix get rid of somebody like a creative like Gunn, whose movies have been well received, right? Guardians movies, like you got to include the movies, the Guardians into the picture too. You can't just go. You can't just say. You can't just look at they're looking at the two DC movies he's done. Well, one DC movie and Peacemaker. No, no, no. You have to go back to his Guardian movies. They see that too. So right. Why would they get rid of that? Why would they get rid of that? And yes, and you got to understand, people. Warner Brothers movies, they're not going to streaming. They're not going all straight to streaming, right? They're all going to theaters. Every single movie from Warner Brothers till 2029 is going to go theaters. It's going to be in the theaters. And Netflix has said this. Netflix has said this. You trust Netflix. You can trust Netflix or not, whatever. But Netflix actually have been releasing more of the movies in theaters. Just they don't give it a month, 2 months. They give it 1 or 2 weeks. And that's okay. But more and more directors are coming out signing on Netflix. They want their movies to be in the theaters for all right, before they get to streaming. Okay. Knives Out is a mistake. Going to theaters for a week and then on stream. Like, no, Knives Out should have been in theaters. I mean, Netflix. There's no reason. I know Netflix is built itself as a streaming service, but it has come to a point where it's more than a streaming service now. When it produces its own films, TV shows, whether it's binge or weekly, fine. But when it's producing its own films, it's gotten to a point where their films are getting bigger budgets, A-list directors, A-list cast and crew. It's getting to a point where maybe you should think about theaters a lot more. Okay? And Warner Brothers, the stuff Warner Brothers assets are getting, DC, Mortal Kombat, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, whatever. They're not going through. I'm sorry, that's not going to be straight to streaming. Oh yeah, the Directors Guild is not happy about it. The Directors Guilds think it's a bad idea. That's true. We'll see what. Look, if the Directors Guild comes out with something about this, you're gonna see. Is it the Directors Guild in the Writers Guild? Isn't the Writers Guild also not happy? I think the Writers Guild is not happy too. Is it? The Writers Guild too. Writers Guild is not happy about it. So if you're gonna see the Writers Guild and the Directors Guild not happy about it, you're probably gonna hear the Actors Guild not happy about it. SAG. Okay, that's gonna happen. That's probably gonna happen. It's a domino effect. They are not cahoots, but they're aligned with each other, right? So that's what I think. I think that's what will happen. If the Directors Guild is not happy, if the Writers Guild is not happy right now, I expect the SAG not to be happy either. I don't think. Physical media, yeah. So I don't think they should get rid of physical media. I think they'll keep physical media. Okay, that's just me. But who knows? I don't think they're gonna get rid of physical media. I wish Degrassi was here if he's here, but whatever. Physical media is a big. It's a big point. Also, they will control their own. I mean, they're gonna get a video. I mean, look, they have a video game section on Netflix, right? So they're getting a studio. I mean, Warner Brothers studio, whatever. But also, let's get back to the theater aspect, movies aspect, right? Like I said, they have Warner Brothers has it in the contract with, and Netflix is inheriting this contract. Just because there's a new owner doesn't mean they can just erase the contract. No, that's not how it works. New owners always inherit the contracts. The contracts roll over. It doesn't matter who's owner or not. They always roll over the contracts, right? And obviously, new owners have a choice to let people go to hire to let people win out of the country to bring their people in, but they really don't. But for this deal with the movies thing, they have to honor that contract. Okay. Okay. And they said they're keeping HBO Max for you Americans. They said they're keeping HBO Max too. Okay. Yeah. And okay. They said they're keeping HBO Max. Okay. That so you're gonna have two. Uh. Okay. Okay. Two. That's what they said. All right. Um. But let's go back to some of the properties we're talking about. The big one in my community is I mean it's DC. DC. Okay. Snyderverse people. I mean, it's become laughable today. Really laughable today. Oh, Netflix? Yeah, I know. Netflix? It's laughable with the Snyderverse people. They don't do their fucking research. They don't know this. Okay? They believe they believe there's a chance the Snyderverse is coming. No, no, no. There's a sort of reasons why it's not happening. First, Zazoff staying on. That's pretty much securing James Gunn staying on. Okay? Zazoff is the one who brought up James Gunn, and I'm sure. And if Netflix accepted Zazoff staying on, they trust Zazoff. Okay, otherwise they wouldn't make this deal. I think if they didn't, right? I think they trust Zazoff, so they trust James Gunn and Peter Safran. Okay, two. Okay, Snyder didn't deliver on Netflix. Didn't deliver on Netflix. He didn't deliver on Netflix. Okay, didn't deliver on Netflix. Okay, Army of the Dead was not good. Okay, you saw what happened at the Oscars without a fan vote. They tried a fan vote, and it's not really an Oscar award, but they tried that fan vote for that 1 year, and they saw what the bots were doing, what the Snyderverse were doing. They're like, no, this is not real. This is not legit, and they decided not to continue with that. Army of the Dead was not good, and then you got Rebel Moon 1 and 2, 1 and 2, both not box office, both huge misses. Where Rebel Moon 3 seems unlikely, really highly unlikely, and it's but behind the scenes that Snyder might be done with Netflix. They might be like, and remember the Army of the Dead universe not happening. That doesn't even make it happening. It seems dead. Okay, and it seems like his contract's well on Netflix. Well, I got a wrinkle for you guys in this. Where I'm gonna add to this. We talked about recently about a guy named Dan Lin. Dan Lin, right? Dan Lin, who made a comment a couple years ago joking about the mocking the Snyderverse and the boss. He's not a fan of the Snyderverse. This guy was also in talks before Gunn and Safran became heads of DC Studios. This guy was in talks to helm DCU Studios, but the negotiations fell apart, and he went to Netflix. Okay, went to Netflix. Here's the thing, guys. He's still working at Netflix. He is still working at Netflix. He is still in charge of Netflix. Okay, he's still working at Netflix. Still working at Netflix. And in 2024, here's the catch, guys. In 2024. He was promoted. You know what he was promoted to? Film division, where he takes the films for Netflix, like the release of the films, when the films come out, marketing, when films will come out, he does that. 2024. Do you know what movie came out after 2024 or before 2024? Rebel Moon. You know what came out after 2024, which the viewership drastically dropped? Rebel Moon Part 2 because of Rebel Moon 1. And you got a guy who's not a fan of Snyderverse. Right? Not a fan of Snyderverse, right? Calls out the Snyder cult, basically with the jokingly, but but he's still taking a shot. It's condescending, right? Obviously, from him, all right? Army of Dead, it was not good. Nobody really liked. I mean, I don't know. I wanted to Mills course. That was okay, but no. But the Rebel Moon movies were horrible. Okay, so this guy now that's not really a fan of Snyder. Why would he continue Snyder's work? Want to continue Snyder's work, right? What? Okay, that's the thing, and, and Netflix is not stupid when it comes to DC because they know DC is one of their biggest assets. They know the positive reception of Superman, Peacemaker. Hell, I think the actress who plays Danielle Brooks, the actress got nominated for an award at the Critic Choice Awards for a role in Peacemaker. An actor, an actress getting nominated for an award in Peacemaker. Can you imagine that? I didn't think anybody would get a major nomination for Peacemaker. This is Peacemaker, really, right? But she did. Superman was well received. Superman did not get nominated for major awards at the Critics' Choice Awards, just visual effects, but still got nominated. Okay? It was well received. People liked it, and it was positive. Okay? Okay? Snyder is not. So there's a lot of factors against Snyder ever coming back to restore the Snyderverse or whatever. A lot of factors. Okay? And they're going to keep, I mean, there's going to be the others are going to say, yeah, but there's still a chance. No, there isn't. There isn't a chance. Okay? Sorry. Okay? You probably do have a better chance of finding the love than it being restored. Absolutely. Okay? Okay? So the Snyderverse is not coming. It's dead. It's dead. You got right. Zalazov is staying on. That means James Gunn is staying on. Peter Safran is staying on. Also, you got a guy Dan Lin who's head of the film division there. Who is not a fan of Snyder's work. Okay. You got, and you really logically, James Gunn is more well liked than Snyder. And sorry that hurts your ego, Snyder fans. I'm sorry, but it's a fact. Okay, it's a fact that there's been DC's been happy with James Gunn. They're making a sequel, and when the sequel's announced, you don't think Warner Bros. Is thinking about a sale going up for sale then? Back in whenever the sequel was announced, August, September, it was okay. You think James Gunn didn't know about a potential sale and that he's probably safe, whoever wins? You don't think the Zazov and some of the people got insurances that some of them are safe, some of the creators are safe? You don't think so? Okay. You don't think Pam Abby, and Michael DeLuca are not safe? They're safe. They're freaking safe for sure. Those two are definitely safe. Okay? Definitely safe. Okay? Definitely safe. Okay, those okay. They had major success this year. Pam Abbey and Michael DeLuca. Warner Bros. Major success. More okay. They're gonna see this and they're gonna see that, and Netflix knows this. Netflix is not stupid. These companies are not stupid. Okay, they got probably the best, but in the country, the best people with the best people in the financial industry, whether it's accountants, financial managers, whatever, bank people that work for them, basically in the with finances. They got the best, and they do their due diligence. They do all that shit. Okay, they're not oblivious. Okay, okay. You don't change. You don't get rid of success. Okay, you get rid of the opposite of success. Okay, hey Anthony. Okay, I guarantee most of the people I mentioned are safe. Are going to be safe. Okay, they're going to own Warner Brother Studios. They're going to own DC Studios. They're going to keep James Gunn on. I'm pretty sure James Gunn. I'm pretty sure they already talked to James Gunn. Netflix probably talked to James Gunn and said, "Yeah, don't worry, you're safe. We're not planning to get rid of you. We're not thinking of getting rid of you." I don't know if they're allowed to do that before sales official. I'm not sure if that's legal, but Netflix, in my opinion, no, have already made a decision on James Gunn. You're not going to get rid of him. Okay, you're not going to bring back Snyder. Snyder did not. Snyder kind of hurt Netflix reputation with his films. Okay, okay, because Netflix, they really bought into Snyder. They really went all in with Snyder, right? They really went all in with Snyder. They believed in Snyder. They put their marbles. They put all their money, their marbles. All the marbles in one basket in Snyder, right? To deliver Army of the Dead, Rebel Moon, and he didn't. He didn't. He he failed them, guys. I put this in the chat, basketball fans. Does does Netflix want to be the Clippers or the Lakers? When we refer to the Clippers, do you want the Snyderverse? Or when you want the Lakers, do you want the DCU? Okay? Okay? You're blinded. Do you want the Clippers, who for basically their whole freaking existence have been a joke? The only time they got good was, I don't know, for the brief time when they had Chris Paul and Blake Griffin. But then since Steve Ballmer took over, tried to make him like the Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Where did I get that? The best player always gets hurt. Paul George was a failure. I mean, you know what the Clippers did? They made the Thunder what the Thunder are. The Clippers are responsible for the Oklahoma Thunder. Okay? If it wasn't for the Clippers, I don't think Oklahoma Thunder would be this good. Okay, five first round picks and Shai Alexander for Paul George. Okay, or you want to be the Lakers? The Lakers, the dynasty in the '80s, dynasties in the 2000s, and so on. Right? Oh, I'm gonna put a link. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, like you want to, right? Okay. There's no there's no money situation where Snyder is a viable option for Netflix because he didn't deliver on his promise. He delivered him content, but he didn't deliver him success. And what studios like is success. Okay? James Gunn, yeah, has never worked for Netflix, but he might be working for Netflix now. But he has success so far with the DCU and Guardians in his Marvel work. Okay? You just don't get rid of that. Okay? Okay? And I do think it's a possibility that, I mean, if the thing is, if the Writers Guild and Directors Guild are upset about this and are concerned about this, there's no question that the SAG might be concerned about this because, you know, I'll give you an example. Remember, a couple months ago, right? Elizabeth Olsen said she really doesn't want to do big movies that are going to go straight to streaming. This is kind of thing she's talking about right here. Because that's what Warner Brothers does. Warner Brothers doesn't really, I mean, they have sometimes HBO movies, right? They'll have like the weird time they'll have a movie straight to HBO, but they usually don't, right? But this is exactly what she's talking about. And it is a kind of a concern. It's kind of a concern. If it's definitely from one studio. Okay? They might be concerned about it, even though Netflix gave the assurance that they're going to keep the films in theaters. But the thing is, the CEO did say they're planning, even with this possible merger, them buying this, that they may shorten the length of the movies in theaters. Instead of 2 or 3 months, they may shorten the window. That's a concern. That's a concern the writers are going to have, and that's a concern that that's going to be a concern that I think the actors are going to have. The SAG's going to have. That's a concerning message. Okay? And because they get a percentage of the box office, right? They get a percentage of the box office, and the less the movies in the theater, the less the money. Okay? Oh, there's George. Well, you gotta change your thing again.
Mhm.
All right, where's Blinded? Blinded, coming in, buddy?
All right, I should be good to go. And
All
I also put in the chat, don't be a Doc Rivers. Like, for legit, whenever I hear this Netflix guy talk, I'm like, is this guy Doc Rivers or something? Like, always saying some stupid shit? Because Doc Rivers always says some kind of dumb shit. Like, remember when Doc Rivers basically said, "Oh, no one talks about the fact that I get my teams to this part, like I get them to the semifinals. At least we don't get swept." Like,
Yeah, but
like for real, like
yeah, like the semi, like much they hire you to get past the semifinals.
no, he hasn't gotten past the semifinals with the Bucks yet. And he's never gonna because
He's gonna get fired. I think he's gonna get fired by the Bucks.
yo, he should get fired. Like, listen, if Doc Rivers gets another job coaching a team after he gets fired from the Bucks, it's clear he's got blackmail on someone in the NBA.
I think, yeah. So Blinded, what's up? What's up, guys?
What's up? What's up, guys, man?
I
What's up,
mean,
George?
Hello.
The Snyderverse is coming back, guys.
Yeah.
Yo, I know you guys are Canadian, but I don't know if you guys ever watched Hamilton on Disney Plus or anything.
Yeah, we got
There's
that.
Okay, so like there's a song from Hamilton. It goes, "You'll never be president now." So here's my version. You'll never get the Snyderverse now. Never gonna get the Snyderverse now. Because, listen, if David Zaslav's staying on, regardless of whether or not James Gunn stays on or renews his deal, Snyderverse ain't coming back. You know, Zaslav's very high on James Gunn's DC universe. He was very high on Superman. Like, all these people, this is coping that I'm seeing. I'm seeing coping from Josh and Denon nerds, Mike Karen to Shine Hello.
Yeah, all the usual.
They all forget. They all forget. Like, yes, I know you're talking.
Movie sadness and depression.
Well, you're gonna be depressed. You can be depressed even more because, like, the guy who's the head of the film division in Netflix is the guy who's not a fan of Snyderverse.
No, I mean, well, honestly, I feel like this is the worst case scenario of Netflix getting Warner Brothers.
Well,
it's none of this is good.
It's the writers like Blinded George. Guys, I don't know if you might have been listening, but if the writers and directors guild came out, they did come out and say something. I won't be surprised if SAG follows. And that
now everything is gonna probably go on strike.
Oh yeah, Degrassi said that in the chat. This might be it. This is gonna make all the unions go on strike because I don't know if you realize, but Netflix they don't pay people. They don't give them residuals. So if Netflix puts up all their stuff and that means there's gonna be less jobs. There's going to be less people getting paid. And then on top of that, too, they're not going to honor the theatrical window, which is going to hurt theaters even more. That's exciting.
And people can say, oh, yeah, I like watching movies in your house. This is what you need to understand about Netflix, right? Netflix literally makes movies and shows now for people who are not even paying attention. They design movies and shows. This is not a joke. This is literally not a joke. They specifically tell producers, directors, and screenwriters what to do because they know that a percentage of their audience watch movies on their phone.
I can't watch a movie on a phone.
No, I can't.
But a lot of people are. We're the minority.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, Blinded. There's this movie that just came on Netflix with George Clooney, Jay Kelly. And I heard it's been nominated for Critic Choice Awards and possibly nominated for awards season. That movie should not be a streaming movie. It's gonna be nominated for awards season. You know what I mean?
No, yeah. Well, I think they should push harder for like what James Cameron said. James Cameron is 100% right. Why is the movie industry that makes a lot of their bread and butter on theatrical releases, why would they support this? Just so what? A very small minority of people can now get rich? This is not good whatsoever.
Yo, honestly, here's the thing. It's gonna get messy either way because Paramount has basically said they're gonna push for a hostile takeover. Warner Brothers is not. Right. Listen, no one's winning in this scenario because the reality is people don't want Paramount owning Warner Bros. People just want
Paramount. It would be better off if Paramount just owns fucking. If we have to pick between the two, it's better if Paramount just owns.
Here's the thing. I mean, this could definitely cause a strike because the actors and actresses are going to be because we know with the movies they get the longer the movies in the theaters, there's a chance the more money it makes. Even if it was a big drop off, right? There's their bonuses involved, right? And you got the CEO of Netflix basically admitting to reducing the length of the movies in the theaters. You think actors and actresses like that? Like hearing that?
No.
Especially, do you think they're going to do that? Let's say Man of Tomorrow. Man of Tomorrow's going to be in the theater for a month. You think an actor and actress is like that?
Well, they have contracts apparently.
That's true.
So they
there's apparently a contract that all Warner Brothers movies up to 2029 have to honor their theatrical window.
Right. Okay, window. Okay,
good. It's so after 2029 is where I think questions are going to come.
Even after 2029, I wouldn't want a DC big IP movie to be a month.
But they can still green. The only thing is Netflix. This is the problem with that, right? Because there is not movies scheduled for even what 2027 for Warner Brothers, like big, like we have like some dates that
Batman,
they untitled.
Batman, Superman,
Yeah, the Batman.
What about Lord
Yeah.
of the
Oh
Rings?
yeah, yeah. What the fuck am I talking about? Superman and Batman. Okay, 2028 then.
Minecraft,
Wait,
Minecraft.
20
isn't
no no
is it
no.
isn't the
2020
Lord
2028 they don't have
2028,
movie
yes.
schedules.
Wait,
Yeah.
isn't
Right?
the Lord of the Rings movie scheduled for 2027? The Gollum
Yeah,
thing.
it is.
Yes,
Yeah,
same
that was
time.
just a blunder on my part.
That was
I
Avengers,
blanked.
yes. 2027 is Avengers, yes.
But I meant to say like there are some movies that are like there's a year where there's no movies. So if Netflix, if the deal goes through, they're going to be the ones greenlighting movies for 2028, 2029. And those are movies that are definitely going to be movies that are curated by their own algorithm using
Uh-huh.
Warner Brothers content.
Yeah.
So like
And
it's still not particularly good. Like
I think,
none of Netflix buying this, I don't think like
think, I think James
like
Gunn
first
would like
off,
that.
they should no Warner Brothers should not be bought out.
By
I agree.
anyone.
That's what it should be. It should
Here's the
be
thing,
Warner Brothers competes with everybody else.
Good
What the
year.
hell just happened?
Oh, this
Just
is
Yo,
kick
I
us
was saying, as I was saying,
Is Netflix just kicked us out?
yeah.
yo,
Netflix kick us out?
Netflix is trying to hijack us. So,
Yeah, because
Like-
we're talking that shit.
but like, here's the thing that like to me, like this is actually probably gonna be one of the few times I think people are actually gonna root for the Trump administration to block this move because
Well, I hope so. I hope they're
Because,
that
like,
petty
this
to
is-
block it.
this is actually a big concern. And look, I not that I want Paramount to own Warner Brothers either. I want Warner Brothers to be
No,
left
yeah.
alone. I think Warner Brothers should just stay how it is. They had a good year for movies. Like it was a good year for movies, whether you had a franchise or you had an original IP. It don't need to really be bought by anyone. It should be
Right.
left alone.
But you
Like,
know,
yeah.
you know who made a good point? Sadly, the worst person you know made a good point. Grace Randolph. You know what she said? This was a good point. If this goes through, it's not that this itself is a monopoly. It's the fact that it will now the inevitable conclusion of this is to have monopolies because now the other studios who are now ultimately going to be the bottom, like if there's only the top two, right?
Yeah.
Those studios will now have to go, well, we need to now merge because we can't compete with the other two.
You'd be like, yeah.
And then you're going to end up in a case where there's only now 3 studios. And that's a disaster. That's an epic
Yeah, you know what's-
disaster.
It's gonna also kill the smaller studios like A24 and Neon, you know?
I don't think they will get killed. I think that it's the bigger studios that will hurt the most. Paramount is going to hurt. Universal is going to be small
Yeah.
peanuts. Universal is probably going to, if this goes through Universal, someone's going to buy Universal.
I'm wondering how Disney feels about this.
Well, they don't care. They're at the fucking top.
Yeah, they got Fox. I mean, but Fox compared to Warner Brothers. The assets of Fox.
They're the top dog. They don't care. Like now, Netflix would be the second top,
I can
or
s-
even the first.
I can see Apple
Based
be
on
like,
this.
maybe we need to get a studio.
Yeah, well, every other
Amazon.
Amazon too. Amazon's like maybe we
Yeah.
should get a major studio instead of
Yeah.
just settling with a MGM.
And you know-
Like
And you know those two companies have loads of money, loads of money. They have
yeah,
the
well,
resources.
look at what Degrassi's saying. Netflix doesn't have studio infrastructure
No.
to support. Yeah, like it's substrate. Yeah, that's how you know. And
no-
first off, a lot of the stuff that first off, this would be a disaster. I don't think people realize how disastrous this would be. Warner Brothers games, they're not even going to put out games on any other platform. People do realize that, right? Like people do realize Netflix literally
Yeah, they
has
have.
game. Did everybody just forget
Yep.
that they bought
They have
studios only to make games on Netflix, and then they
Yep.
canned them when it was a disaster? Okay,
Yep.
so there's that. Then there's the fact that DC Comics probably will ultimately they will just get rid of that. They'll either cancel it completely or give it to somebody else to publish. but that is highly likely because Netflix is not in the bit. Netflix has they have no interest in anything besides the IP itself. That's all they care about. They just want to own the IP and make a bunch of content. So we're going to be getting, if this is the case, because I think honestly, I don't think James Gunn is going to stick around with this. They're going to take the DC IP and they're just going to be like, we're going to put the DC movies up there and we're going to see what is successful and then we'll probably start building from there. They'll probably take what already exists with the DCU if it's successful on their streaming service and they'll probably just okay, we'll just make more seasons of Lantern or we're going to just make a new Batman movie with this that's not in the same separate universe. Or we're just going to forget about cinematic universes or whatever. And we're just going to do our own thing. They're going to figure it out, right? They're going to do their own thing based on what their algorithm is telling them. Like this is not a good scenario. Like I don't see how this is a better scenario than Paramount. The Paramount, in my opinion, is bad because obviously consolidation. Obviously they're in the pockets of Trump right now, and now they could just apparently studios are at the behest of the government and they can make what the fucking government says, which I think is crazy. But I feel like that ultimately that culture will change in a certain amount of time. This is not going to change. This is what Netflix's model is. This will never, Netflix will never come out, in 5 years and say, oh, now we're going to do theatrical. No, they see the theatrical experience as a competition to what they're doing.
I think it's gonna get blocked. I personally think it's gonna get blocked.
I hope it gets blocked.
It's probably gonna get blocked. Listen, you got people. Listen, this is actually a bipartisan issue in the country. Both Republicans and Democrats do not like this one bit. There are people in Hollywood that don't like this.
I think any studios try to get Warner Bros. Is going to get.
I don't see how this goes through because one, this is going to be contested in other countries, and remember what I told you last night. I said if Netflix buys Warner Brothers, that means Crave goes out of business. There's no content on Crave besides HBO, and I think it's like that in the UK too. So I don't see them doing something like that because now you're interfering with a lot of other companies. Now you essentially what they would do is not only are they axing HBO, but now you just killed other international streaming services. Yeah, right. And then now everybody has to go to Netflix to get those movies and shows.
Yeah, I get Crave free. To better not ruin it.
Well, here's the thing. Honestly, this is. David Ellison, whatever the hell his name is, he's to blame for this. He was putting pressure on Warner Brothers to get bought, so Warner Brothers did this thing, and now look, now Netflix has it.
But David Zaslav was always going to sell. Yes. He literally look, the moment the company became successful, that's when they all of a sudden they start talking about selling the company, and they were the ones they didn't have to do that.
But
they didn't have to open up.
This happened a lot sooner than I think expected because Paramount was putting pressure. And not that I want to agree with Paramount. I think they were right in saying that Warner Brothers was basically trying to fix this bidding so Paramount wouldn't get it. Right. I think there was a fix in for someone to buy it that was not Paramount. Like before Paramount, but no, not before Paramount. Before Warner Brothers did the bidding November, Paramount had like 3 offers in September and October that Warner Brothers kept declining.
Yeah.
So this was obviously meant to prevent Paramount from getting it. And look, I get it. Obviously, people don't want a Trump-influenced studio to get it because David Ellison's not just interested in the movies. He wants CNN. Like, he wants the whole package of...
Yeah, but the problem is, with his idea of CNN, he would never get CNN because that's splitting the 2 companies.
No, like, that doesn't matter. He's good. He's gunning for all of them. That's the thing. Here's the thing. The splitting of the companies would probably work better if Netflix or Comcast. Like, if Comcast... Because Comcast was the other big big studio that wanted it.
That'll still be a monopoly because it's Universal.
Because here's the thing: Netflix and Universal only wanted the movies. They only wanted the movies and the shows.
Right.
Ellison wants everything.
Everything. He wants control of
Paramount
everything.
wants everything, which again, I think that would be another bad conflict of interest. Obviously, that's not going to get investigated because the Ellisons are friends with Trump, so Trump will probably let it by because Trump hates CNN. So of course he wouldn't be offended if CNN was controlled by Ellison.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing.
Definitely.
I think the reality is that if Paramount was owned by someone else, I think Paramount would the bidding could have gone towards Paramount. Because
I don't even believe that.
but I think it would have been a much easier pathway, and I think more people would have been rooting for Paramount. Here's the reality. The reality is that people were only rooting for Netflix just because they did not want Paramount to have it because of Ellison.
Yeah,
If
because
Ellison
I think it was in Warner Brothers' best interest to sell to the person who can actually would be the highest bidder, which obviously would be Netflix, because Paramount couldn't outbid Netflix. That was the whole thing. They don't have the money to even do that. And I think Warner Brothers, all of the remember, this is a deal or an agreement with the people who are all in charge of Warner Brothers and Netflix. So they sat down and they talked, and I'm sure that there was some. I can see why they would favor Netflix over them, because they would get, first off, they would get control of the company still, or at least with David Zaslav, they would get control. They would make money on top of that too, and it's probably going to help them in the long run, because Netflix is only on the up. I don't see Netflix ever going down unless people wake up to the slop that they're making. But people are content with Netflix. They're perfectly fine with what Netflix has been putting out. So, that's what it's going to be. Like,
here's the thing. Paramount has not really had anything that big of a success lately. Like,
no, they don't have any IPs.
That's what they
really.
Warner Brothers.
Well, here's the thing.
That's why
the last
Warner Brothers.
The last two Mission Impossible movies underperformed.
Transformers hasn't been big for them.
Yeah, Transformers hasn't been big lately. Even good Transformer movies like Transformers 1. Sonic doesn't make the big video game money that Minecraft and Mario have made.
But Sonic's one of their best things too.
But compared to like Mario and Minecraft that have made $1 billion or 900, Sonic has not made that big money.
It's sad though.
Right.
Those are
so like Paramount has Nickelodeon, but let's be real here. What's Nickelodeon? Just SpongeBob. Like I
don't even think Nickelodeon has live.
Nickelodeon doesn't really have anything else. Like, let's be real here.
First of all,
Nickelodeon's reputation has basically been damaged for over a year.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real here. The
guy
longer. But here's the thing. I just want to throw out
for
here
multiple
something
reasons too.
I just want to throw something out here. I think before Ellison took over, I think the last CEO was. Let me look up his name, because this guy had connections to Nickelodeon. I'm gonna look it up.
I think they have SpongeBob coming out, a movie.
Yeah, they have the
SpongeBob movies. Don't make big money though.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Nickelodeon. The only thing probably valuable is SpongeBob at Nickelodeon. Like, what else do they have at Nickelodeon?
But like, it still don't make big money.
Dora the Explorer? I don't know. Like, there's not really much. What's another big thing that they could just constantly milk? They seem like a lot of the big Nickelodeon shows that they had, they're all pretty much done. They have been done for like more than 15 years. The only show that's been consistently going on for longer than that was SpongeBob.
SpongeBob, yeah.
Yeah, SpongeBob, and I guess you could say Dora, but Dora's not that big in comparison to SpongeBob.
Oh yeah. So here's another thing. So like, obviously people like to bring up David Ellison. The previous like co-CEO of Paramount wasn't much better. Brian Robbins. I just want to share with everyone some stuff about Brian Robbins. He was the president of Nickelodeon, and he was around when all that stuff that they were talking about on Quiet on Set was happening. And I not that I trust Dan Schneider, because he's another human being, But Dan Schneider said that the guy that did all that stuff to Drake Bell was a Brian Robbins hire. Brian Robbins never took ownership. So it's like the reality is that Paramount just got shitty ownership. It's had shitty ownership for years. You had Brian Robbins who enabled the creeps of Nickelodeon that was in charge. I don't even know how he got in charge after all that. Like that's still mind-boggling. And now you got Ellison, whose daddy is, Trump's BFF.
Yeah, I don't know. Paramount is not.
Paramount's a big mess.
Paramount might change hands again if this goes through. Because they're not like, why would they continue with Paramount? There's nothing at Paramount. They were gunning hard for Warner Brothers.
Yeah,
it's not happening unless again like this shit gets broken up and people. Hey, like this is like to me, I just think this is like a really really bad fucking move. Like this is the kind of move where it's like these executives, they don't give a fuck anymore. You know what I mean? Like this is all just about money. They're not doing it because
82 billion. I mean, it's hard to say no to that.
Like
right?
how they can how the CEO of Netflix could say that, putting movies in putting movies straight to streaming is pro consumer. Like people, if people really believe that, come back in 15 years and see how that plays out.
And
do you want to pay $40, $50 a month for Netflix?
And I'm just gonna throw this out here. I think the only reason why Comcast was interested was because this came out. Apparently, they want to get like DC rights for the theme parks. In reality, it seems like they only wanted Warner Brothers.
They made a deal. They made a deal.
They did make a deal with Universal for theme parks.
Yeah. I mean, so like they really like in reality like it wasn't really even about the movies for Universal. It was more like let's get this thing into the parks.
Right.
Yeah.
Like here's the thing. Like apparently they're trying to get DC. I think at Islands of Adventure where they still have Marvel, I think they're hoping to get DC so they can just do away with Marvel Island, because Marvel Island has basically been untouched, and obviously Disney can't do anything at Disney World with their Marvel stuff until Universal says, "Hey, we're done with Marvel Island." So.
Right. Yeah, this is just in my opinion, it's been heading toward day and date since. Yeah, but like, I don't see. I think if we were in a different, where the content, even that fucking word. If the movies and shows were of quality, and they weren't like going down, and they had all these strange requirements and this AI and algorithms and all this shit that. If it wasn't that, maybe this would be like, okay, not as bad. But this is, in my opinion, Netflix is like a dystopian fucking movie show making machine.
Yeah.
Like, who even really knows now with AI what they can really do? Like, are they going to essentially have this like AI thing that basically produces shows for people? They don't even need to actually make this shit anymore. Like that's the path that Netflix is going down. Like the same shit Black Mirror was making fun of. That's literally what Netflix is going to be in at least 10 years. It'll be there.
The last strikes, that lasted for like 4 or 5 months, and now it's intense, right?
This is gonna last.
This is worse. This is worse. Exactly.
Yeah, unless it's shot down, this is gonna fuck everything up.
And one of the reasons why it would have been AI. AI is now
it's still AI. It's still gonna be AI.
These are major talking points right here. This one just adds to it. This is going to make it much worse. Much worse. That's going to affect some of the big movies in 2023. I mean, Avengers Doomsday.
I don't think anything that's pro-consumer of like we are just going to take the movie and put it straight to streaming. I don't think that's pro-consumer. I think pro-consumer is when you give options no matter what. I don't care if the theatrical window is niche, right? I don't care if it's niche. I don't care if Blu-ray and DVD is niche. Doesn't mean you get rid of it completely. That's not consumer friendly.
I don't think they're gonna get rid of that.
They will. I'm telling you, they 100% will. They're not they're going to play now. They're going to sit down and say this and that. It's like Microsoft. Like this is why consolidation is bad. It's bad. Period. Okay, when Microsoft bought Activision, they straight up lied
They
to all of
lied.
these countries. Yeah, they straight up lied to them. They said, no, we're not going to do this and that. And then guess what happened? They had to obviously change their whole fucking business model now because they can't make exclusives. They can't actually compete with PlayStation because then it would be a literal monopoly. They literally own one of the biggest third party gaming companies. I'm telling you, never fucking believe a single fucking word that comes out of these executives' mouths because one day it's this and the next day it's that.
Mhm.
Yo, listen, they're like the president of basketball operations in the NBA. This is basically like, when Phil Jackson took over the New York Knicks and he said, oh, we're going to have a respectable season, when in reality, they were like the worst team at that season. You never believe a word that these owners say, whether it's sports
No,
owners,
never believe the
like-
executive. Never.
because the reality is that they're just going to disappoint. I mean,
Never. Because I'm telling you, they change their mind like the fucking, like the fucking season. Like it's inevitable. They would say this is not profitable. This is not this. This is the direction, and we don't even know what is like the new trend that's gonna pop up that could shake everything up and
They
change
never-
everything again.
They never tell you how they really feel.
No, well, they don't know because they don't know themselves. That's why they can do this shit.
Shut up, Red. It's not you sideways. Shut up. You can't what?
Hey
What?
guys, it's me sideways. Get the hell out of here, bruh.
hey, man,
Why is the
don't-
chat
don't-
so
hey,
slow? Like in the
don't disrespect
It is-
sideways like that.
It is kind of slow, and yeah, it is. It is
I mean,
a little slow.
It's just a whole.
it's a whole can of worms that it's like
This-
nobody's ready for this.
I mean,
Disney-
here's the reality. The reality is that so
Here's-
many people. First of all, so many people who have had
Here's-
takes on this, whether they've agreed with us or not,
There's
they're
a reason.
still acting like a bunch of idiots on there.
There's a reason why Warner Brothers is trying to get Man of Tomorrow and Batman Part 2 in spring. Start filming in spring because the potential was
Well, well, by time it's still whatever movie is going in production in spring, it's going to get
Well,
delayed.
You know what movies in jeopardy? Secret Wars.
All of these movies are in.
You think Disney? I'm sure they're prepared. I mean, they gotta start. You have to start talking now, even if you're far apart.
But it's
Well,
not. It's not about Disney. It's not about. It's about
Well,
Netflix and Warner Brothers now.
But it's gonna affect everything.
Yeah,
Ah,
I mean I mean, to be honest, they should go on strike because
'cause here's
like
the
Netflix
thing.
is a nuisance.
Because here's the reality: all these.
Yeah.
no, Batman Part 2. If it was on Netflix, it would do big numbers. But we went to theaters.
Hey, listen, I'll say this:
They do big numbers
it
on
would
that.
do better on streaming than the Snyder Cut did.
Of course.
But this is okay. Anthony says this. Remember when Netflix, the CEO, the co-CEO, argues that Barbie and Oppenheimer would have been just as big on Netflix? The thing
No.
is, this is the thing, right? And this is my problem with these companies, right? Is like they're all about viewership on their platform and showing like you see like more people went to watch this movie on Netflix than they would have in theaters. But here's the difference. There are people who paid to watch a movie in theater versus someone who already paid for Netflix and it was conveniently there and they decided to click on it.
Yeah.
Like that's not an indication that people want something. And like I said, how do we even know that these people sat down and watched the entire thing
You know what?
and actually was paying attention and watching?
Have they ever gone on YouTube? Because people do that all the time on YouTube. They don't watch the whole video on YouTube.
Well, that's what all these stupid social media companies like Twitter, like people.
Yeah.
That's why I was laughing at that one clown. I know Tony was making fun of him, who he was like, he was saying one day, oh, I get more views than Disney does on Disney Plus or some bullshit, and you're like, dude, first off, you're a nobody. Twitter is not content. You just literally took 5 seconds out of your day or a minute or whatever, posted the shit. That is not equal to the viewership that Disney Plus would get. Okay, it's not the same. Like none of these things equate. They're not equal. But in people's minds and in a lot of these executives' minds, that's the thing that's
Yeah.
fucking dangerous, is that they see that and they go, "Yeah, that translates to money." No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I don't know when they're going to wake up and realize that, yeah, like you
So
having a Netflix
that's
streaming
what for
service
freaking
on
ad.
demand with any movie,
That's
yes,
what
you're
ad
gonna get
tiers.
tons of viewership. Duh.
You have ad tiers because they know that. Like that's how
Well,
they
the
make the
ad
money.
tiers are gonna get worse and worse.
Yes.
Yo, see, this is why I'm gonna be spending the next couple years stocking up on physical media. Like,
Yeah, because
yo,
Netflix will come
because
for it and fucking
I
burn it
mean,
to the
like,
ground.
the reality is that first of all, like, this Ted guy on Netflix is probably one of the most tone deaf ignoramuses out there. Like, he is so hell bent on
That's it.
saying that the model's gonna change. The model's gonna change. No, it ain't. The model's not changing. Look, regardless of what
How do you change?
like what people's gripes are with Disney or
No.
whatever. Do you see what's happening with Zootopia
Yeah.
right now? Zootopia 2
Yeah.
at the
He's
box
changed.
office.
He
Regardless
always.
of what the reception of Avatar 3 is going to be, that movie's going to do big numbers. Next year, we're about to see, assuming strikes don't affect these movies getting released, Brand New Day and Avengers Doomsday are most likely going to do well. Super Mario Galaxy, I bet that's going to do well.
Yeah.
Odyssey, I wouldn't be surprised if Odyssey does Oppenheimer like numbers. Like
Next year is a stacked year for films.
This guy is so tone deaf and doesn't understand that people, even if it's not every movie, there's some movies that people will go see because they're events. A Marvel movie like Doomsday is an event, whether it's good or not, whether it's gonna hold up or not. It's an event. You want to know what was so captivating about when Spider-Man No Way Home came out, regardless of how you felt about it? It was an event. It was an event where people's favorite Spider-Man were coming together, their favorite villains, and it was happening around a time when people weren't even going to the theaters, and it was still an event. It broke box office records. Like people were excited to go to the
Yeah, it's
theater.
the one movie.
I saw the movie though on Wednesday opening afternoon at 3 o'clock.
It was.
I've never been in a more packed theater. Like it was more packed than my theater for
It was the
Endgame.
one movie. It was the one movie that came because it was still like the pandemic era. It was the one movie that nobody was afraid to go to the theaters for.
But that's what I mean. It's like so many movies are events, and
Yeah.
like and even my screaming for Oppenheimer was like mostly filled. It's like the reality is that theaters can still get filled. Like when because I saw Wicked for Good on Thanksgiving, it wasn't full. But when I saw the first Wicked the year before, my theater was almost full, and it was week 2. It wasn't even week 1. It was week 2, and my theater was almost filled. Like the theater experience is still an event depending on what the movie is. The thing is that Netflix don't have event film. So that's why like this guy's so ignorant about it. Like he's so ignorant, but he doesn't realize that people still love going to the theater. Listen, I saw the Frankenstein movie from Netflix in the theater.
Yeah,
Listen, he don't realize how much money he actually missed out on by not.
Yeah, it's getting nominated for awards. I mean, like.
But here's another thing: he doesn't realize how much money he missed out on by not giving K-pop Demon Hunters a bigger release in theaters. Like K-pop Demon Hunters, I'm not saying it would have made $1 billion, but it could have done really well if you had just given it a bigger window.
Yeah,
but he didn't even do that. Like.
And you can't do that with DC or even like what other properties have. You can't.
He can't do that with Minecraft, Lord of the Rings. If they ever do any more Harry Potter spinoffs in the theaters, I know they got the show, but there's always a chance they can do a spinoff again. Like you can't do that with this big like IP window you have. You just can't do that. And like, here's the thing, like, and this is why I like
They have a big IP. They're getting Narnia IP. I mean, Greta Gerwig. We did Barbie, and she wouldn't join Netflix. If Netflix didn't give her a theatrical release. But how long is the theatrical release?
Yeah, that's a good question. No, the reality is that I'm not the biggest fan of Bob Iger and Disney, but Disney at least understands the theater assignment. I mean, did you see that they announced that they're going to re-release Endgame in theaters in September?
Yeah.
They re-released Toy Story back in theaters this past September. Even Universal has been re-releasing movies in theaters. They re-released Back to the Future. They re-released Jaws. They re-released, I think, Apollo. That
You know
Apollo.
what? There may be a chance that Endgame may reach 3 billion.
It was Apollo 13. I was like, I don't know why my mind was drawing a blank. Like, they're re-releasing How the Grinch Stole Christmas with Jim Carrey.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so, Universal and Disney understand, like, that people still go to the theater. And they'll even see old movies in theaters.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing. When I saw Jaws in theaters back in September, my theater was mostly packed. Like... So people will still see old movies in theaters. When I saw Spider-Man 2 when it got re-released in theaters last year, back in the spring, my theater was mostly packed. Even when I saw Dogma be re-released in theaters this past spring, my theater was mostly packed.
Okay.
It's like this guy is so tone deaf. This guy he clearly doesn't understand like movie fans.
Yeah.
It's just I don't understand it.
The only problem why theaters don't do so well is because it's not really it's the concessions and all that. But
yeah, and when I saw Revenge of the Sith back in the spring, my theater was like had a pretty good showing. I wouldn't say it was full, but had a pretty good size crowd.
People are willing to spend money for a big movie, no matter how much the money is. For a smaller movie, not really, right? Unless they're a hardcore fan. So like people are willing to spend money to see like a Batman film, Superman film, like Marvel film, things like that. They're willing to spend money for kind of like you can't really, in a way, they're willing to spend money for event films now. Like Minecraft, I wouldn't consider it an event film, but it was an event film based on the money it made. Like you really have to be a standout. Really, people are willing to spend money. They're willing to save up the money to spend on certain films. They pick and choose. That's what Zootopia. Zootopia, I mean, it's a family-friendly film. That's why parents take their kids to see it, right? So, and Avatar, it's right. It's really how it is right now. I mean,
well, like, I just don't like. The thing is that this guy has never been the head of a big studio. He doesn't fully understand like what Disney and Universal are seeing.
Well, I hope because I hope the guys. I mean, Dennis Lin. I hope the guys like Zaslav and people from Warner Bros. Advise him.
Like here's the thing: is there going to be a power conflict between him and Zaslav? Because Zaslav's all for the theaters. Like he touted this year's huge success. Like he was proud of how well his movies did this year.
Yeah.
So ultimately, like, I'm not gonna put my trust, because obviously trusting big executives is like trusting an arsonist to get you out of a fire. Like my thing is like I would like to believe that Zaslav would make conditions for Warner Brothers brand movies.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously Netflix is still going to do their thing. They're still going to have their certain movies get released.
Yeah, they will.
Now again, like
sure,
this is obviously going to be something we're probably going to be concerned about. I think a few years later, because first of all, this thing is the earliest this thing's going to get finalized will probably be like later in 2026. And the thing is, it's like
I think
like
it's a
the effect,
quarter three,
the eff-
quarter three.
and but that's like the earliest because I think this is going to be a grueling process with the FCC.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a grueling process, and the thing is, it's like you're already gonna have movies that are in development that are gonna be filmed or have something filmed before the eventual
Well,
strikes happen. That they're not gonna be able to touch.
SAG-AFTRA did come out and say they will conduct a complete and thorough analysis on this potential deal. But Warner's merger raises serious questions.
And like here's the
So
thing,
they are concerned, SAG-AFTRA.
like this is gonna affect even the other studios because the reality is that all these actors they don't work for one specific studio. Like they go from studio to studio. Like Scarlett Johansson, for example. Yeah, she worked with Disney for Black Widow and Marvel, but she also went to Universal to do Jurassic World Rebirth, and she's going to and it looks like she's going to go to Warner Brothers for Batman Part 2. Like all
Mhm.
these actors go from studio to studio.
Yeah, I mean,
So it's like this is going to affect them because for
I think they want to work with Netflix.
because let's take a guy like Sebastian Stan, for example. He's Bucky in the MCU, and he may love working with Disney and Marvel, but let's just say like there's a project he might be interested in with Warner Brothers, but he doesn't want to do it because the whole Netflix thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, do they want? There's bonus money involved with. There's like incentives involved, right? There's like when we get percentage of the box office from a movie being a film, and you think that, they're gonna be concerned.
Do they really think that a guy that has basically been the ambassador of theaters these last few years, Tom Cruise, is gonna be happy with this?
He's not gonna
like Tom Cruise, who promotes his movies that compete against his own movies.
Yeah, no.
Like Tom Cruise, for goodness sakes, this is the guy that hyped up the Flash movie. Like that, we're talking about actors that are trying to get people to go into the theater.
That's true, TJ. A lot of actors who are deep in Disney end up on Netflix. It's funny.
Yeah, but here's the thing: there's a difference between understanding a project that's meant for streaming versus a studio that used to be all for the theaters. That's now.
That's why SAG is looking at this carefully, thoroughly, because they want to make sure they want to protect their actors. They want to make sure how the actors can get paid.
Because here's the thing: whatever, what was fair for Warner Brothers, is that fairness going to carry over to Netflix?
Yeah.
Like whatever benefits that you may have gotten from doing a show on HBO Max, is that going to happen with Netflix? Because the residuals thing, that was brought up. Look,
a lot of actors, a lot of people live off residuals. I
was talking with people at work today because we were talking about Pedro Pascal in some weird conversation, and one of the things we brought up was before Pedro Pascal became a big star, he was basically relying on the residuals from Buffy.
He was a Buffy?
Yeah, he was I think in an episode or two of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Really? I didn't even know that.
And I think that residual check was basically what kept him afloat, as well as other small appearances that he made on shows.
I know Jeremy Renner was in the Angels show. The spinoff. Oh, he wasn't Buffy. That was in 99. Wow.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. It's residuals are a lifeline to some of these people.
I mean, I know Jeremy Renner was an Angel. I know that for a fact. The spinoff, I know that. Yeah. And visuals are usually not a lot. Unless it's the show syndicated. Because Jerry Seinfeld, he doesn't do a lot of stuff, but because Seinfeld is on so many stations, so he gets so much money from that, right? If it's syndicated. Ray Romano probably does some stuff, but I think his show syndicated. You know, Friends is still around. Their show is syndicated. I think they still make a lot of money. Like you could, if you're a popular sitcom, it's still around for a long time. You probably still make a lot of money. Yeah, but yeah, but if you're like a small time actor, sure, you rely on residuals. You'll take any paycheck really.
Yeah. Well, here now I'm gonna throw a hypothetical. Like I don't know. Like, could Netflix maybe see the value of theatrical if, let's say, I don't know, the Batman Part Two makes $1 billion worldwide, or Man of Tomorrow makes $1 billion? Because
Yeah,
I would hope that, like, if, or like, the second Minecraft movie, because if let's just say like one of these movies makes $1 billion worldwide, like I
you
would hope that Netflix would look at this and
blinded
say, hey, we got some big money coming.
George blinded. You still there? Oh, where's blinded? Is somebody kidnapped blinded?
Yo, the people of Netflix.
Netflix kidnapped blinded?
Oh my goodness. But like I'm gonna throw that hypothetical, like, because I think 2027 could be a big year for Warner Brothers. If like one of those movies, or let's just say like in a crazy scenario, all like Man of Tomorrow, Batman Part Two, and the Minecraft movie 2 all make $1 billion worldwide.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I'm not saying they're going to make as much money as Secret Wars. I think Secret Wars, assuming it doesn't get delayed, will be the top movie of that year, like box office wise. But if these three make massive money,
Secret Wars is going to move to 2028. If the strikes are going to happen, they're not going to film. They need a while to do that film.
honestly, I think they should probably get started like as soon as possible if they want to like avoid.
Netflix doesn't make bad TV stuff. Once in a while, they have bad shows. Um, Not like
Yeah.
HBO. HBO's good. Uh,
And look, I'm not saying every movie that Netflix makes is bad. I mean, Netflix had The Irishman, K-pop Demon Hunters, Frankenstein that just came out, but they also just have a
yeah.
lot of like mindless garbage or
Uh,
just forgettable stuff. Like, remember that like movie that like Ryan Reynolds, The Rock, and Gal Gadot was in?
oh yeah.
Like, that was so dumb.
The what's it, Red Notice or something like that? Was it Red Notice or something? I don't know what's it called. It was with the eggs. I think they're like, aren't they making? Why are they making sequels to that? Ah, Netflix does make a lot of slop. I don't know what happened to Blinded. Is Blinded okay?
I just don't understand like what the goal's gonna be here, because I mean, look, if obviously you stream the whole library, like the historical library of like 100 years of film that Warner Brothers made, I get that.
Yeah.
If that's your goal, I get that. I mean, because one of the things that I've always knocked HBO Max for is that HBO Max just does not have a consistent library. Things come and go. Like, there's no consistency. It's like you would think that like if you're gonna do Warner Brothers movies, that Harry Potter should be on there all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like something like Harry Potter should be there all the time. Lord of the Rings should be on there all the time. But like then they get moved to like some other streaming service for like a month or two.
Yeah.
So it's like I like a positive that I could take away is that maybe Netflix will just keep it as consistent as Disney Plus does with its library.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think Netflix should really, because Netflix I used to do go with animation. Netflix should consider
Ha.
bringing the Cartoon Network library on Netflix. I think that's something they should do. That was one of the failures of HBO Max, deciding that they no longer
Do
need
you,
the tunes.
do you know what Disney has now? They have Dragon Ball Super on it now.
Wow.
Dragon Ball. Yeah. Yeah.
But I really think they should really bring in the Cartoon Network library like I think that would be a smart thing to do. Bring in like Courage the Cowardly Dog and then Eddie regular show.
Uh-huh.
I don't think they're gonna put The Amazing World of Gumball. I think Hulu now has the rights to that
Yeah.
because they're bringing it back. But like that should be something that I think they really should utilize.
Yeah. Well, I'm tired, man. I gotta go relax. I don't know what happened,
Yeah.
but I think you got kidding.
I'm gonna be seeing Zootopia 2 tomorrow.
Hope you enjoy it. Thanks, guys, for watching. I'll probably be back tomorrow, maybe. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment below. Oh, I'll be back Sunday too.
All right. Peace.
Later, guys. Bye.
Too sweet. Sweet. Too